The moment I heard that guttural laugh, something inside me snapped. It wasn't supposed to be like this. My wife, Emily, the woman I swore my life to, was supposed to be the one person in this world who had my back. But there she was, holed up in our bedroom with another man, while I stood outside the locked door, gripping a chainsaw in my hands. I hadn't planned this. Hell, I hadn't even known I'd be coming home early. But life has a funny way of shoving the truth in your face when you least expect it. Hours earlier, I'd been out of town for work. Emily had kissed me goodbye that morning, flashing me the same sweet smile she always did. One I now realized was nothing but a rehearsed performance. I was supposed to be gone for 2 more days. But after my last meeting wrapped up early, I decided to surprise her. Pulling into the driveway, I noticed something off. Emily's car was there, which wasn't unusual, but the sleek black Mercedes parked next to it? I frowned. We weren't expecting guests. I stepped inside, and immediately, something felt wrong. The lights were dimmed. The air smelled of wine and perfume, one that wasn't hers. And then I heard it. Low, hushed voices. A giggle. My stomach tightened. I moved quietly, my feet sinking into the carpet as I walked down the hall. The bedroom door was shut. That giggle again. Emily's. But there was a second voice, male. Deep. Confident. Too damn comfortable in my house. I reached for the doorknob. Locked. A cold wave of rage rolled through me. My hands clenched into fists. My breath came hard and fast. I knocked hard. Silence. Then, a shuffle. A hushed whisper. The sound of hurried movement. I knocked again. Emily. More silence. That was all I needed. I turned and stormed into the garage. My fingers closed around the handle of the chainsaw before I even realized what I was doing. The weight of it felt satisfying. Heavy. Real. A part of me told me to stop. To breathe. To think. But I wasn't thinking anymore. I walked back to the door, revved the engine, and let the growl of the chainsaw echo through the house. Inside, chaos erupted. A loud thud, followed by a panicked, "What the F?" asterisk. I pressed the blade against the wood, letting it bite just enough for effect. I wasn't planning on actually hacking through yet. Open the F asterisk 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 ing door, Emily. My voice was calm. Too calm. I heard a scramble. Then crash. Something shattered. I moved back just in time to see a man, naked, shaking, eyes wide with sheer terror, hurl himself through the window and hit the ground outside with a sickening thud. Emily screamed. I let go of the chainsaw. The sudden silence was deafening. I stepped back, inhaled deep, and turned toward the front door. By the time I made it outside, the guy was limping toward his car, panting like a hunted animal. His face was bloody, his leg dragging. I walked up slow, watching as he fumbled with his keys, hands shaking so bad he could barely grip them. He didn't even see me coming. I grabbed him by the back of the neck and slammed him against the car. Who the F asterisk 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 are you? I growled. He whimpered something unintelligible. Behind me, Emily burst onto the porch, still in nothing but a sheet, screaming, Jason, stop. Please, Jason. So that was his name. I turned back to the guy. You Jason? He nodded, barely. I released him, watching as he scrambled into his car and peeled out of my driveway like the coward he was. Then, slowly, I turned back to Emily. She was standing there, trembling, arms wrapped around herself. But there was no remorse in her eyes. No guilt. Just anger. Like I was the one who had done something wrong. I exhaled slowly and walked toward my truck. Reaching inside, I pulled out a shotgun. Emily's face went ghostly pale. I wasn't going to use it. Not on her. Not on him. But she didn't know that. I cocked it once, just for effect, and looked her dead in the eyes. Say goodbye one last time, I said. She opened her mouth. Then, boom. The deafening blast echoed through the night as I aimed high and fired a shot into the sky. Emily let out a blood-curdling scream and dropped to her knees. And in that moment, I knew this wasn't over. Emily sat there, shivering in the night air, her arms clutching the sheet like it was the only thing keeping her together. But I wasn't fooled. The fear in her eyes? It wasn't fear of losing me. It wasn't guilt for what she'd done. It was fear of consequences. Fear that her perfect little world was about to crumble. I lowered the shotgun, resting it against my shoulder. Get up, I said, my voice even. She didn't move. I said, get the F asterisk up, asterisk asterisk. Slowly, she rose to her feet. Her breath came out in uneven gasps, her eyes darting to the broken window, the shattered glass glinting in the moonlight. I took a step closer, and she flinched. Good. What's the matter, Emily? I asked, tilting my head. You didn't expect me home tonight? She swallowed hard, her lips parting, but no words came out. I let the silence drag. Then, finally, she found her voice. Jason, he doesn't mean anything, she whispered. It was just a mistake. I laughed. Because that was rich. A mistake. I echoed. That's funny, because from where I'm standing, it looked pretty ing intentional. She shook her head, tears welling in her eyes. I didn't plan this, I swear. Don't. I cut her off, stepping even closer, watching as she shrank back. Don't stand there and lie to my face. Not after I just watched your little boyfriend launch himself through my goddamn window like a ing stuntman. Her breath hitched. Tell me the truth, Emily, I said, my voice calm but sharp enough to cut. How long has this been going on? She hesitated. I could see her brain working, trying to calculate an answer that would soften the blow, that would keep her from looking as guilty as she really was. Too late for that. How long? Her jaw trembled. Then, a few weeks, she murmured. Bullshit. I took another step, and she backed up, her bare feet crunching over bits of broken glass. Try again. She shook her head. I swear, Jason. I snapped. I lunged forward, grabbing her wrist, yanking her toward me. She gasped, her eyes wide. You think I'm ing stupid? I hissed. You think I don't know when my own wife has been sneaking around behind my back? Her lips parted, but nothing came out. I let go of her so abruptly she stumbled back a step. Then, I reached into my pocket and pulled out my phone. I had receipts. I turned the screen toward her. You recognize this number? The blood drained from her face. She knew exactly what it was. A few days ago, I started noticing things, little things. The way she was suddenly glued to her phone. The late-night workouts that left her coming home with messy hair and that guilty little smirk she thought I wouldn't notice. So I did what any man with a gut feeling would do. I checked our phone records. Same number, over and over again. Late at night, during the day, even when I was home. And now, looking at her, she knew she was caught. How long, Emily? I repeated, softer this time. She exhaled shakily. 6 months, she whispered. 6. ing. Months, ***. I closed my eyes for a second, inhaling deep. That was all I needed to hear. When I opened them again, I saw something shift in her. The guilt? It was gone. Now, all that was left was defiance. She straightened up, the fear in her eyes replaced by something else, arrogance. So what? She snapped. My eyebrows lifted. So, what? She crossed her arms, the sheets slipping slightly, and for the first time, she smirked. I said what I said, she continued, tilting her chin up. You're acting like some crazy psycho because I finally found a man who knows how to treat me. My fingers curled into fists. I mean, come on, Jason, she sneered. You work all the time. You barely even look at me anymore, and honestly? She scoffed. You're boring. I stared at her. I stared at this woman. This vile, disgusting excuse for a wife, and I felt nothing. Not anger. Not pain. Nothing. She thought she had the upper hand now. She thought she'd won. She had no idea. A slow smile stretched across my face. You're right, I said simply. That threw her off. Her smirk faltered. What? I shrugged. You're right, I repeated. I've been working too much. I haven't paid attention. And maybe I have been boring. She blinked. Wait, are you being serious? I nodded. Dead serious. Her shoulders relaxed just slightly, her lips twitching like she wanted to smirk again. That's when I delivered the final blow. I guess that's why I filed for divorce last week. Silence. She froze. And then, her face twisted into something ugly. You're lying, she spat. I pulled my phone out again, scrolled, and turned the screen toward her one last time. There it was. The confirmation email. Divorce papers. Filed. And the best part? She was getting nothing. Her mouth opened. Closed. Opened again. Then, she screamed. Emily's scream ripped through the night, raw and filled with fury. It wasn't the cry of a woman who'd lost something she loved. No, this was the wail of a bitch who just realized she'd lost control. I watched her, calm, still, as she clenched her fists and shook like a rabid animal. You UF asterisk 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 ing bastard, she screeched, stepping forward, shoving me hard against the chest. I didn't move. You're divorcing me? She shrieked. You don't get to F asterisk 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 ing leave me. I leave you. And there it was. The truth, clear as day. This wasn't about love. It was never about love. Emily had enjoyed the game, the sneaking around, the lying, the control. She thought she was untouchable, that I was just another clueless husband who would never grow a spine and walk away. She was wrong, and she hated that. I just smiled. You thought I'd beg, didn't you? I said, voice low. You thought I'd grovel at your feet, beg you to stay, forgive you like some pathetic little idiot? Her lips curled. You are pathetic. I laughed, shaking my head. No, Emily. You are. That hit. Her nostrils flared. You'll regret this, she spat. Doubt it, I shot back. She stepped closer, her face inches from mine, her eyes wild with rage. I'll take everything, she hissed. You think you can just throw me away like garbage? I'll make sure you regret this for the rest of your life. I just smiled again. Oh, she had no idea. I guess you didn't read the fine print, sweetheart, I said smoothly. You cheated. In our house. With a man I can prove you've been seeing for months. That means, I leaned in just a little, you get nothing. The color drained from her face. And in that moment, I saw it. The moment she realized she'd played herself. She thought she was untouchable. Thought she could get away with it. Leave me broken and desperate while she ran off with her boy toy and half my money. But I'd been one step ahead. She stumbled back. No, that's not. It's already done. I cut her off. Your name's off the house. My lawyer has every call log, every message, every transaction. That Mercedes in the driveway. Not yours. That credit card you've been swiping to take your little boyfriend to five-star hotels? Gone. I let that sink in. Her mouth opened, but no sound came out. Then, she lost it. She lunged forward, hands flying at me, nails digging into my arms, face twisted in pure, blind rage. You son of a b asterisk 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 h. She clawed at me, screaming like a wild animal, but I didn't flinch. I just grabbed her wrists, twisting them back just enough to make her stop. She panted, chest heaving, eyes blazing. And then, she spat in my face. For a second, I just stood there, unmoving. Then, slowly, I reached up, wiped my cheek, and let out a low chuckle. You know what, Emily? I said, my voice dangerously calm. You just made this so much easier. She yanked away, her breath ragged, eyes darting back toward the house, like she was looking for an escape. You're not staying here, I said, voice sharp. She froze. Her lips parted, but I didn't wait for a response. I grabbed her arm and dragged her toward the house. Jason, stop, she shrieked. You can't do this. I yanked the door open, shoved her inside. You have 5 minutes to pack your SD and get the F asterisk out, I said, stepping back. She turned to face me, eyes wide, mouth gaping. You're serious? She whispered. Dead serious. Her hands trembled at her sides, and for the first time tonight, I saw something new in her expression. Not arrogance, not anger, fear, because she knew this was it. The game was over, and she lost. Emily's breath came fast and shallow, her eyes darting around the room like a cornered animal. She still couldn't believe this was happening. The shock on her face was almost laughable, as if she truly thought she could cheat, mock me, and still walk away with everything. Not tonight. I leaned against the doorway, arms crossed. Tick-tock, Emily. She snapped out of it, face twisting with rage again. You can't do this. This is my house, too. I smirked. Wrong. Was your house. You've got 4 minutes. She let out a shrill, frustrated scream, yanking the sheet tighter around her as she stormed toward the closet. The sound of hangers clattering filled the air as she ripped clothes from the rack, shoving them into a suitcase with wild, jerky movements. I just stood there, watching. She could try to stall, try to argue, try to pull whatever manipulative bullst asterisk she wanted. It wouldn't work. I was done. As she rushed back and forth, she shot me glances, calculating, testing to see if there was any weakness left in me. There wasn't. Where the F asterisk am I supposed to go, Jason? She hissed. I shrugged. Not my problem. She stopped, hands gripping the suitcase so tight her knuckles turned white. For a second, she just stood there, chest rising and falling, shaking. Then, Her expression changed. The anger? Gone. In its place? A slow, practiced smirk. Oh, here we f asterisk 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 ing go. She let out a fake little laugh, brushing her hair back over her shoulder. You know, she mused, turning to me, voice suddenly sweet. You don't have to do this. I raised an eyebrow. She took a step closer. I mean, come on, she purred, looking up at me through her lashes. We've been together for years, Jason. Are you really going to throw all that away over a stupid mistake? I stared at her. She took another step, her voice dropping lower. It was nothing. He meant nothing. You're the one I come home to. I let her talk. She placed a soft hand on my chest, fingers trailing down ever so slightly. Let's not do this, she whispered. I almost laughed. This was her final move? After everything? I reached up, grabbed her wrist, and yanked it off me. Her face dropped. No, I said, voice cold. You come home to nothing. I shoved her hand away and stepped back. For a moment, she just stood there, stunned. Then, her rage exploded. ing piece of st, she shrieked, grabbing a glass from the nightstand and hurling it at the wall. The sound of shattering glass echoed through the room. I didn't move. She lost, and she knew it. Emily grabbed her suitcase, yanking it off the bed so violently it nearly tipped over. She stormed past me, slamming into my shoulder as she went. I followed. Down the hall, down the stairs, straight to the front door. She ripped it open, stepping onto the porch, then whirled around, eyes burning with hate. This isn't over, she snarled. I smiled. Oh, sweetheart. I leaned against the doorframe, voice low, smug, final. It already is. And with that, I slammed the door in her face. I stood there, gripping the doorknob, listening to the chaos outside. Emily lost it. She kicked the door, screamed something unintelligible. I heard the sharp clatter of her suitcase hitting the porch, followed by more frantic stomping. She was fuming, but she had nowhere to go. Not my problem. I exhaled slowly, rubbing a hand down my face. The house was dead silent now, except for the distant rumble of a car engine, probably hers. A part of me expected her to come barreling back in, throwing more tantrums, trying to claw her way back into my life like the parasite she was. But after a few minutes, there was nothing, just silence. I turned away from the door and made my way to the kitchen, grabbing a beer from the fridge. My hands were still shaking slightly. Not from fear, not from anger, from the sheer adrenaline of it all. 6 months. For 6 ing months, I'd been sleeping next to a liar, kissing a fraud, loving someone who had already moved on. And all that time, she thought I was too stupid to see it. I twisted the cap off the bottle and took a long sip, letting the cold hit my throat. Then I laughed. Not a happy laugh. Not a relieved one. Just something dry, hollow, disbelieving. I had been so blind. So ing blind. And now, the weight of that realization was crashing down all at once. I sat down at the kitchen table, staring at nothing, letting it all sink in. The memories. The moments that now felt fake. The nights she came home late. The mornings she left too early. The way she'd suddenly stopped touching me unless it was for show. The signs had been there. They were always there. I just hadn't wanted to see them. I ran a hand through my hair, exhaling hard. I should feel broken, shattered, gutted. But instead, I felt free. For the first time in months, the tightness in my chest was gone. No more wondering. No more second-guessing. No more trying to be good enough for someone who was never good enough for me. I took another sip of my beer, tapping my fingers against the bottle. And then, my phone buzzed. I glanced at the screen. Emily. I smirked. Of course. I let it ring. Then, a message popped up. Emily, Jason, please. I'm sorry. Just talk to me. I chuckled. Pathetic. The last time she texted me first, it was to make up some excuse about working late. She was probably with him. Now, she was alone, desperate, and realizing that the game was over. I set the phone down without responding. Then, I grabbed my beer, leaned back in my chair, and let out a slow, deep breath. For the first time in a long, long time. The hours passed slowly. I sat at the kitchen table, the empty beer bottle resting in my hand, the house silent in a way it hadn't been in a long time. No footsteps from Emily pacing upstairs on the phone, no distant sound of her fake little giggle, no tension hovering in the air like a storm waiting to break. Just peace. The phone buzzed again. I didn't even check. I already knew who it was. I got up, stretched, and walked over to the window. Outside, the driveway was empty. No sign of Emily, no sign of her car. Good. She was really gone. And for the first time since this whole nightmare started, I could finally breathe. I should have done this sooner. I should have seen it coming. I should have known that the woman I fell in love with wasn't the same one who stood in front of me tonight. Furious, not because she was losing me, but because she was losing everything she thought she had control over. I turned away from the window and made my way upstairs, stripping off my shirt as I walked into the bedroom. The place still smelled like her, but it wouldn't for long. Tomorrow, I'd burn the sheets. Tomorrow, I'd throw out every trace of her from this house. Tomorrow, I'd wake up and finally start over. I lay back on the bed, staring at the ceiling. For a brief moment, I let myself think back. Not to the lies, not to the betrayal, but to the beginning, back when I thought she was someone else. I'd loved her. I really had. But that version of Emily was long gone. And now? I didn't love her. I didn't even hate her. She was nothing to me now. I closed my eyes, exhaled slowly, and let the silence wrap around me like a promise. It was over. And I had won.